Hello and welcome to another CK3 Dev Diary video. This week we're going to be talking about Men-at-Arms, Mercenaries and casus belli. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Hello everyone and welcome back. This week we'll be talking about a lot of additional details surrounding warfare. Good. Just a few bits and pieces that have changed since CK2. So first up, the casus belli. One thing that is as it ever was, however, is that you need a CB to go to war. Damn it, but no CB is the best CB, you bastards. And that CB determines what happens when the war is won or lost. The most common ones are for pressing claims, as you're familiar with from CK2. In different situations, there will be different options, of course, and some are even unlocked in special ways, such as the ones unlocked by perks, as shown off in the Diplomacy Lifestyle Dev Diary. So we've got this image here. We've got seizing the county of Gorlitz. There's also the excommunication war against King Boleslav. So yeah, what seems to be the case is that we are again going to have a situation where if you win, you get what you claimed. You don't get to say, oh, well, I'll have all of this as well because I beat you so badly. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fine. It's basically what's in CK2. It would be nice if there was a little bit more to it. I do prefer the EU4 and Imperator systems. But I guess it suits the time period, maybe. I don't know. Either way, let's move on. Also, yeah, some more of a look at the UI, which I guess some people have been complaining about. For instance, Father Loris on the NoCB podcast, which is recording every Wednesday, over on twitch.tv/NoCBcast. He does not particularly enjoy the UI. He thinks it's not flashy enough. I kind of love it, though. I think it is very dark, dreary, and definitely invokes a Middle Ages sort of vibe for me. It's very gothic. So I love it, but it does seem to be splitting the community somewhat, but personally I'm totally cool with it. As we can see as well, when you win you can gain some fame. Your allies share some fame based on their contribution. That's new. Increase your opinion of your allies based on their contribution. Very nice, very nice. Also shows the army strength as well. I wonder, is that your army strength or theirs, though? I don't know. War declaration cost. One thing that has changed a little is the fact that different CBs come with different declaration costs attached to them. This is usually prestige or piety, depending on whether you're starting a war against a fellow believer or someone from another faith. On the other hand, we don't want to keep you from taking advantage of a great opportunity just because you're missing 10 prestige at a crucial moment, so the points costs are optional in a sense. You can declare war without paying its cost, at which point you'll instead pay something bigger, such as a level of fame or devotion. Levels of fame and devotion bring their own benefits, so ideally you want to avoid this, but it's not as big a problem as, say, truce breaking. It's not going to cripple your play, just set you back a little bit in exchange for getting to raise your armies and take some new titles while your enemy is weak. This is also one of the ways that pieting prestige gain has become more valuable than it was in CK2. You want to use it for more stuff, and it's always useful to have lying around. So that makes me think that every war is going to have a cost of prestige and piety, or prestige or piety, which is interesting. I mean, we can see here for just the Acclaim war, it's going to cost you 100 prestige, which it's certainly an interesting way to go. It's certainly interesting. Alright, Men-at-Arms. We've talked about armies before. We've talked about the difference between your levies and your men-at-arms. Your levies are your unwashed masses, indistinguishable peasants, more than willing to die for the few measly pieces of gold you throw their way. Men-at-arms, on the other hand, are more specialist troops, and the more competent, that gives you more control over precisely how you win your wars. They're in many ways your elite troops, ready to march through mountains and marshes for you. So this is your military screen. If you're raising all armies, Can raise all soldiers, which is a nice round, suspiciously clean 6,500. The levies are 5983, knight 7 out of 7, and I guess the men-at-arms are 500. There's 510 if you include the trebuchet. No, it's a mangonel. It's not trebuchet, it's a mangonel. I don't know, maybe it's weird. It's weird looking. It is very, very weird looking. No, it isn't. Yeah, no, it's mangonel. They're firing this way. That's why it looks weird. From the perspective, it looks like they're firing like in that direction, but they're actually just after firing. So yeah, that's what that is. So yeah, suspiciously round number. But anyway, lovely. You can create new men-at-arms regiments if you so desire. 3 out of 7. That's going to be quite useful, you know, get yourself a bunch of men-at-arms. You have a maximum number of men-at-arms regiment slots for your army, and in addition, they have an upkeep cost. It's small when they're unraised, but the moment you have them stand up to go to war, they'll demand a lot more pay. Even though you can max out your men-at-arms slots, there are other ways you can expand your army. Each men-at-arms regiment can be increased a set number of times to field even more of your deadly warriors. This will naturally increase their maintenance cost as well, both raised and unraised, so think twice before hiring twice as many soldiers. There are many different types of men-at-arms regiments, and what their type is determines a number of things, such as what terrain they're good at fighting in, and what kind of men-at-arms regiments they're good at countering or get countered by. Over time, you may also be able to acquire new types of men-at-arms regiments. This means that bulk of armies are likely to be quite different if you start in 867 compared to when you reach the end of the game. So, what it's looking like is you choose what kind of men-at-arms regiment you want, and then you might be able to upgrade it after the fact to be larger. That's kind of what I think when I see increase a set number of times. Each man-at-arms regiment can be increased a set number of times. Yeah, that sounds like you can, like, okay, I'm buying some light cavalry. It's going to give me 50 light cavalry, but then I can click a button and then this is now 100 light cavalry, etc., etc. And obviously it'll cost more maintenance and all that kind of good stuff. Very interesting. And as for cost, yeah, cavalry being quite expensive does make a whole bunch of sense. I do like the fact that cavalry are very expensive, because that's kind of historically accurate. Horses were very expensive to keep and maintain, just like they are today. And then we've got heavy infantry counters pikemen. Does it though? Yeah, does it though? Yeah. You can see it's got a attack, defense. This is probably movement, charge defense, perhaps? I think that might be charge defense. And then this would be charge attack, maybe. So we've got heavy infantry here. They counter pikemen. There's no terrain effects. Heavily armored and well trained. These troops specialize in massed infantry. Full maintenance is 120 a month. Unraised maintenance is 0.36 a month. Reinforce from 5 soldiers. So basically like a retinue. Okay. Men-at-arms also include siege engines, which is one of the easiest ways of speeding up your land grabs. However, siege weapons are almost useless in regular combat. Tell that to Total War. And taking them use up one of your man-at-arms slots. So it's a decision that has to be carefully thought through. So yeah, we've got the Onaga here. And again, yeah, they're definitely firing in a right and forward. Alright, so, yep, they cost 0.3 a month when raised. That's not too bad. Small torsion catapults can tear down enemy fortifications by hurling stone projectiles over a distance. Not as great a distance as a trebuchet, though. In addition to a standard slate of men-at-arms types, different cultures gain access to different unique men-at-arms. These will vary greatly across the world, but are generally specialized in the conditions of warfare that's typical for the culture in question. So we've got the Mobarizon and Camel Riders for whatever culture this is. Mubarizon? I don't know. I've never heard of that, to be honest. And they've got the heavy infantry symbol, so I guess they're a heavy infantry type of unit. So camels counter light cav and archers. It's good at desert warfare, good at plains, good at marshes, bad in hills, bad in highlands, probably, and bad in mountains. Okie dokie. You'll be able to look at battle reports to get an indication of what kind of impact specific types of men-at-arms have on your battles. This lets you figure out whether your strategies are paying off or whether it's finally time to get some pikemen to counter the light cavalry that your rival is always fielding. So to sum it up, men-at-arms are great for countering specific troop types, adjusting to specific types of terrain, and directly bolstering the number of soldiers in your army. Sometimes strategizing and countering isn't enough, however, and that's where mercenaries come in. Mercenaries are familiar to any CK2 player, of course, but they have changed a little now. First of all, you no longer pay monthly maintenance for them. Oh god, that's amazing. I love that. Instead, you pay their cost for 3 years up front. No, I don't like that one, though. And then the yours for that time to use as you see fit. They'll stay with you through thick and thin, though mostly the thick of battle. So there's 2,500 for knights, mostly levies, got some huskarls in there, some light cavs and skirmishers. And then the mercenary captain. 684 for 3 years. You know what, I'm totally okay with that. That feels cheaper than in CK2. Because you had to pay a cost up front, and there was a rolling monthly cost as well. Once the 3 years are almost up, you'll receive an alert warning that that the mercenaries are about to pack up and get on their way. You'll then have the opportunity to pay them for another 3 years of service. This also means they aren't going to betray you the second you go into debt, which I know will sadden a lot of you, but this new system makes it a lot easier to keep track of what you have and don't have during war. Yeah, I always hated the mercenaries going, rogue and attacking me. But at the same time, I'm also strangely going to miss it because, well, that's what they would do. It definitely feels like, in certain cases, CK3 is being geared more towards new players. The painful things are going away, even if painful things are historically accurate. Great example being last week's revelation that primogenitor, ultimogenitor, and all of those things are just changing to succession law, different things, oldest child succession, youngest child succession, all this kind of stuff. It's very interesting, isn't it? Something to think about. So mercenaries are an expensive way of doing warfare, but sometimes it's the only way you'll survive. However, in order to field a mercenary company that fits you both in size and shape, we have a new system for generating them to make sure there's always a wide range to choose from. Alright, so we've got the Hungarian mercenary company, the Company of the Saint, 828 soldiers, 2 knights, some levy, some horse archers. There's the mercenary companies here. Yeah, they do seem a lot cheaper than before. They seem a lot cheaper than before. For 3 years. That's not bad. That's really not bad. But it does seem like they're always going to come with some, unwashed levy. Probably. Like the Company of the Saint here, it's only showing the horse archers, but we can see here they also come with levy, so levy doesn't show in this, which is a bit odd. Each culture generates between 1 and 3 mercenary companies, depending on the number of counties of that culture, with each additional company being bigger and more expensive than the previous one. They'll also pick a county of their culture to keep as their headquarters, and will be able to be hired by anyone within a certain range of that county. With each culture generating mercenaries, their names and coat of arms are either picked from a generated list of names specific to the culture, so that you can get a historical or particularly flavorful company in there. On top of everything else, mercenary companies come with 1 or more specific man-at-arms types, which means that you may want to consider not only which company is the biggest one you can afford, but which is the best suited for the war you're about to fight. That I do like. I do like that quite a bit. This should all offer you a lot of varied strategies for how you go about your wars. Is it worth saving up for the CB cost or mercenary gold ahead of time? What man-at-arms should be using against your ancestral enemies? Who would win in a fight between the White Company and the Company of the Hat? Are either of these in here? No, there aren't. Damn it. That would have been fun to look at. You'll just have to wait until release to see. So yeah, there's some very interesting stuff here. I do really like the way that man-at-arms work. I think that is a really interesting system. And I think this is going to be as impactful as, say, the multiple unit types in Imperator are. I think you've got more control over your man-at-arms types than you had control over your army types in CK2. Other than just, oh, I'm going to avoid building this building, which is a straight buff to give me more troops of a certain type. Yeah, you can definitely specialize your armies now a lot more, and they seem, with more specialization, of course, comes more interesting, tactical differentiation between yourself and your enemies. Because, yeah, if they choose a lot of pikemen, and I choose a lot of light cavalry, I'm going to get fucked up. CK2 definitely felt a lot more like biggest army wins, and I know there's a lot going on under the hood, and people are going to argue with me saying, oh no, it's much deeper than that, blah 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 blah, but no, you just click a button, the biggest army 9 times out of 10 won. Unless you're fighting in a mountain, across a strait, those kind of things, like, biggest army usually won. Of course, you probably could, if you've got a retinue that you've been building up, and you're using your retinue to fight only, with no other armies involved, just your retinue versus, your enemy's armies, then yeah, if you pick like a shit ton of heavy cavalry, then you're probably, gonna punch well above your weight numbers-wise. But for the most part, let's be fucking fair, if you're just raising normal armies from your counties, biggest army wins. That's just the way it goes. Argue with me all you like. But yeah, I do like this. I like the system a lot more than CK2. Mercenaries, for the most part, I think this is much better than CK2 as well. I really hope that we don't see them on the map. I think that was a big mistake that Imperator made, having the mercenary companies be visible on the map. I really don't like that. It doesn't look like it, but I mean, we're just looking at a field here, so it might be. You never know. I really hope they don't get shown on the map, though. But anyway, I'm quite positive about most of the things in this dev diary. I had a look on the forum earlier as well. There are no extra comments as of the time I started the recording, but if I refresh, nope, still nothing. Well, you know what? I like the dev diary. Most people seem to agree, although I will say there's been less comments on it than usual. Maybe it's to do with the quarantine-y kind of stuff. People maybe didn't think there was going to be a dev diary as Imperator didn't have one. Who knows? Either way, yeah, there's been a lot less traffic on the dev diary than usual. But I still think it is quite an interesting one. So I would love to know what you guys think. So please do leave your comments in the comments section below. Hit the like button if you liked my comments. And if you want to keep up to date with all CK3 news and updates, please don't hesitate to click the subscribe button. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.